Hello, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John, and today, as you see in the thumbnail and description, we are doing How to Train Your Dragon 2. I said in the last How to Train Your Dragon movie that this was my first How to Train Your Dragon movie. So, yeah. I don't know, I just missed the first one. I'm like, it's kiddie, it's about kids and dragons, why would I want to watch it? And then I see this one, I was like, what the hell am I missing?
It's intense, right? No, I say it's okay. Like, it's like having Dark Knight as your first ever Batman. Like, it's a good segue. Like, you didn't need to know. Okay, maybe a bit. But, like, you could watch the second one and then watch the first one as if it was a prequel. Kind of like, wait, you know?
Yeah.
So I say you're okay with watching the second one first before the first one. So you're fine.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up for it.
Just blown away by it. So that's why when the last one came out, was coming out, I was like, I am damn excited. Because this is a solid trilogy in my opinion. But like, if we get right into it, you see that Burke is doing a-okay. Like, you know what, we're not racist against dragons, we like the dragons. The dragons are our friends. Species. Yes.
Here they're a bit more open. Everybody's playing like this poor game of shape Quidditch.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
oh, these poor things are just being abused. I was like, I get it, you have dragons, but you don't need to toss the sheep around like that. Just make a ball. Fuck.
I mean, the sheep don't seem to mind. They're just like, we're here for a job.
They do mind. What do you mean? You see the worried faces.
But
I know they're animated. I know they're not real, but damn, I sympathize.
And you see that Hiccup has grown quite a bit. And when the first trailer came out, they're like, "Oh man, he's older now." You're like, "God damn, what the hell happened?"
I mean, you know how many like teenage girls just got like, "Ooh, Hiccup." Like he became more handsome. I'm like, oh, Hiccup.
Yeah, I remember in high school, everybody was freaking out because like, have you seen Hiccup? I was like, what's the deal? I saw the first trailer, not knowing anything. I was like, you know what? At least the animation's pretty good. I'll probably check it out.
Yeah, and then you see what he looked like before. I was like, oh shit.
Right, and then you see what he looks like in the last movie. You're like,
full on beard. I'm like, let's go.
So it's been 5 years in this universe since the last movie, and again, everything's a-okay. Hiccup and Toothless are like mapping out other areas of like this where other dragons roam, and like Hiccup has like the flying. He can like hand glide or at least free fall on his own and control his descent, kind of like the thing in Just Cause where you like can do this.
I have the hang glider thing.
Yeah,
or, like
yeah.
the wingsuit. Sorry, wingsuit. The thing that Batman did not break his back.
Yeah, and the Batman, where it's like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
It was like too late. Parachute last second. And I'm like,
But while him and Ashen are like exploring, they see like a fortress blown to shit with like ice surrounding it, and they're like, that's weird. And then they're captured by other dragon hunters who are led by Eret, who's voiced by Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. Yeah, I was very surprised. I was like, when I was watching it, like rewatching it for this video, I was like, he sounds very familiar. Oddly enough,
Sounds like the King of the North.
He sounds like a bastard. Sorry.
How dare you call the most wholesome man in Westeros a bastard?
Yes.
He is in like bird status, but not in like character. Definitely. But yeah, you hear from Eret, who is like, oh, I work for someone much bigger than me, who Drago Bloodfist, who's voiced by Jaimon Hansu.
Jaimon Hansu. I was like so happy that he had like somewhat of a lead role, because he is the main bad guy here.
Yeah.
And we keep saying it like Jaimon Hansu like deserves. It's not just Jaimon Hansu. It's also another actor that we believe that should have the movie of their own.
Oh, Batista
as the hero. Batista, Hiroyuki Sanada. Sorry.
Hiccup tells his dad, like, oh, the dragon catcher mentioned Drago Bloodfist, and What's the name of the dad? Gerald Butler's character?
Stoic.
Hmm?
Stoic.
Stoic. Yeah, Stoic's like, alright, batten down the hatch, let's keep the dragons in. We're not moving from this place. Like, what's the deal? It's like, you don't understand how bad Drago is. Like, he came to us years before. It's like, oh, I have a solution to the dragons. We can enslave them and then we can conquer the world. And then you're like, you are out of your mind. He's like, well, you're out of your mind. And he sends his dragons down to rain hellfire. And that's why Stoic's like, no, we're not doing this. We're not dealing with a madman.
Yeah, in the first 30 minutes, too, when you find out, oh shit, Stoic's the only one who got out of that fucking house alive. There was like around 20 people in there.
Yeah.
God damn.
It's like the Northman, just for the Northman version where kids can watch it. But still, you think about it, you're like, there are like 20 people who just became Anakin in that center.
Yeah, and did not become
Vader.
A psychopath robot.
Yeah.
Cyber.
But yeah, Hiccup wants to prove the point, like, there are people you can talk to even though he's not. Like, no, there aren't. This is the exception to that. But Hiccup flies off anyway, and then he's like, God damn it.
I do love it that fucking Hiccup tries to do the whole pacifist route where he's like, you can talk to him.
Yeah.
Like, let's convince him not to do it. And I do love it that at the end of this movie, I know I'm jumping a little bit ahead, they do not take that route.
No.
Yeah. No, they don't. Like, as much as they try to hammer it in where they're like, let's try to resolve this problem with peace as much as possible. When you have that as a character with Hiccup, that's the usual, the end goal is to stop the fight with peace. And then for How to Train Your Dragon, that's why I love it, is that they're like, no. That guy's dead. Or gone in any way. Like, I don't know if he's dead, to be honest. But, like, no, there was no peace at the end of this one.
There's no peace no more, man. But Hiccup tries. I like how... I love how Stoic's dragon is called Skull Crusher, and you're like, that's a fucking metal name for a dragon in a kid's movie? Sure, why not?
Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it.
It's like, this one's name's Toothless. This one's named Cloud Jumper. What's your name? Skull Crusher. Oh, okay, cool. And you see it, you're like, yeah, that's an actual description. Like when he lands to scold Hiccup, and you're like, that's a big ass dragon. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's a chunky ass. I do love seeing gigantic men on this kind of like iguana-like dragon. Like you would expect it to be like on hind legs or looking like a dragon from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But no, they're very salamander-esque. And then you have this gigantic circle of a van on top of it. And I'm like, how's that aerodynamic? Like, is that like, efficient?
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, I forgot which one of the Nut Sisters was falling for. Rough Nut, right? I was like, oh, Air's so dreamy. Even though, like, she has Jonah Hill and McLovin simping after her, too.
Yeah. By the way, there's just one girl.
Oh.
The other one's a boy.
Right.
Yeah. Voiced by...
The girl's voiced by Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. The other sibling's voiced by the guy from Deadpool.
Oh,
that
yeah.
The bar.
DJ Miller. Yeah. And then...
DJ Miller, yeah.
Stoic scolds Hiccup, and Hiccup flies away, and then is kidnapped by this dragon terrorist, if you would suppose. You're like, what the hell are you? Just wreaking havoc on Drago's men, and they're like, she's the reason they're all like, we need to capture all the dragons, because Drago's not happy. Like,
this and then we do find out later on, like, oh, sorry for talking over you, go on.
This is where the group splits up, where Hiccup's friends are like, we need to find Drago Bloodfist, and they like bring poor Aerith along. While we find out that this dragon terrorist or rebel fighter is voiced by Kate Blanchett and is Hiccup's mom, and you're like, huh. So again, me seeing this for the first time, being like, so his mom wasn't in the first film? What am I missing then? A lot, apparently. A lot.
Yeah. You know what? Forget what I said earlier. I think you need to watch the first one before watching the second one.
I know.
But
I
yeah.
know. We said
And
this.
oddly enough, she's also Scottish.
Yeah. You're like, who knew? Who
Yeah.
knew? The Australian actress.
I knew two Scottish parents make an English sounding child. What school did you put him in?
Right. But again, I said this in Kung Fu Panda too, but like, every once in a while, DreamWorks pulls a casting out and you're like, that's fucking Kate Blanchett. Like, she's in Lord of the Rings, she's in multiple Oscar-winning movies, and she's in How to Train Your Dragon too. Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
She shows him the heaven that the Alpha made, and you're like, what's the Alpha Dragon? And you see the Alpha Dragon, you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck is that supposed to be?
Yeah,
Scary
there's
mammoth?
like so there's like these like gigantic alpha dragons that like controls majority of the dragons within that vicinity.
Yeah.
And yeah, as we talked about in the first one, there is another one with like 6 legs. I forgot what it had. But anyway, I do love that these alpha dragons do differ from region to region.
Yeah.
That one spits hot fire. This one's like ice. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
It did kind of freak me out when they were kneeling and Hiccup looks up and you just see the scale of the Alpha and you're like, what the fuck is that supposed to be? And then Stoic catches up and then Hiccup's like, Dad, wait. Just give me a moment. Yeah, you really need to listen to me. The Dragon Rebel is... Oh, look, it's Mom. What do you know? I'm like...
And I love this scene so much. I don't know why it is so good, but just like the mom knowing Stoic, because she was married to him, knowing all the things he could say and would say, since she's been missing for 20 fucking years, and him just not caring, and just pretty much says the line of like,
You're as beautiful as the day I
as
lost
beautiful
you.
as the day I lost. And I was like, oh, so good, such a good scene.
Yeah.
Gerard Butler didn't say a lot. He said enough though.
And you do buy their chemistry, no matter how short it is. You're like, damn, I didn't know Gerard Butler and Kate Blanchett make such a good pair. Honestly.
Yeah. And like them singing their song.
Yeah.
It was like a very sweet scene to see. And then you see Hiccup with like the happiness in his eyes, knowing the fact that he has 2 parents.
Yeah.
Like his family's actually complete.
Meanwhile, Hiccup's friends do meet Jaimahansu Drago, and you see the scream he does. Is in my ears forever. Just like, please just shut up. I don't like it.
I like it. I like how he screams. Well, like how he like calls the fucking dragons. I was like, that's kind of sick.
Just primal. That's just like he has a cloak that shields him from the dragon fire. Like, that's pretty sick. And Ash, he just subdues Ash's dragon. You're like, holy shit, poor thing.
We also find out that he only has 1 arm. The other one's just like a prosthetic. I was like, what?
Right? He also has his own Alpha 2, so when he starts besieging Valka's heaven, you're like, I hope everything turns out fine, because it's a kid's movie, right? No. Hiccup tries again to be like, hey, we can talk this out, and he's like, no, you don't understand. I found a way to tame the dragons, and this is the only way to do it. And he's like, you're saying this is the only way because you want to conquer other people too, and he's like, I mean, that's
clever boy.
cherry on top of the cake. And then he's like, let me show you how loyal a dragon truly is while he's under the Alpha. And he starts, makes the Alpha mind control for Hiccup, and then Hiccup starts like being feral again, and Stoic's like, that's not good. And he runs to try to save his son, which he does at the cost of his own life. And you're like, damn. Fuck.
I'm so sorry, but I was expecting a gigantic hole in Stoic.
Right?
After that, like, I don't know why they were checking for pulse when, like, if that ever happened in real life, that person is either cut in half or has a gigantic hole in their chest. But yeah, it was like a fucked scene though.
Yeah.
Seeing Hiccup's dad dead, I was like, can they do that? Especially when prior to this movie, DreamWorks made a Nickelodeon series for How to Train Your Dragon, which showed a lot more of Stoic's character. So would you fucking take him away after, after all that development? You're like, what the what? Can DreamWorks do that in a kids movie? And they did. So respect to you, DreamWorks, for like fully committing.
It's also bad for Toothless when Hiccup's like, get away from his body. You did this to him. I was like, it's not his fault though. Hiccup, why? And then
why when
Toothless
tries to like nuzzle like his way into like Stoic's hand, I was like,
And then he tries to fly away, and then Drago just slams him to the ground. You're like, please, don't hurt Toothless. He's already hurt.
Be gentle.
And then all this time, the weight of being the next chief has been on Hiccup's head, and he's like, how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to be as brave or as great as my dad? I guess the only answer is that I have to try. And the chief looks after his own, and you're like, goddamn right. You're just like, the hype starts to swell around. You're like, hell yeah, Hiccup is the next leader, and he definitely does earn it in this movie. You're like, damn right.
It's a sick shot too, where it's not the sun that's like giving him a silhouette. It's the burning ship of his father's funeral boat.
Yeah.
And I was like, him looking over the horizon. I was like, And the speech that he gives, not speech. It's more of like thought.
Yeah.
Or his thoughts on the situations was so human.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I didn't want to be like my father because I didn't think I could have been. Because how can you be as great as this person, as selfless as I was like, what? DreamWorks, who are your writers? Why do they know how to pull on your heartstrings like that?
Right. And then in the end, he's like, I just have to try. And you're like, it's the best anyone can do. And he's right.
It is. Yeah.
But like,
it's not like, we obtain like this amazing knowledge or Deus Ex Machina. We know how to fix the problem. I love it that the character here is like, I can try.
Yeah.
I was like, which is very relatable because a lot of times we don't have the answer.
Yeah. But the other's like, how? He took all our dragons. Like, well, the babies don't give a shit, so we'll ride them. And you're like, I hope, since they are using the babies, I was like, I hope they don't pull some bullshit of like, the babies are like the Death Star from Zoids. They can just evaporate the Alpha. Nothing like that happens, but like, they do earn this victory. Where he has to take back Toothless, and you're like, the poor boy, just let him be good again, please. He suffered enough. He has so much blood in his hands, or his wings. I do like how he blindfolds Hiccup, and he's like, alright buddy, you have to trust me, and he does the fall.
Toothless, not Hiccup.
Sorry. That would be a scene. But yeah, blindfolds Toothless, and they do the, what do you call that? Paraglide thing? Or like, what do you call that? Jumpsuit? Where he spears Drago off, and he, Toothless challenges the Alpha, and then the Alpha ices Toothless and Hiccup, and you're like, where is this movie even going at this point? Yeah. You, like, for the first time, me watching this franchise for the first time, I was like, what the fuck? Well, I just got here, and the man's dead. His dad's dead. He's dead. Oh no, his dragon's challenging the Alpha. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a pretty okay. It's an okay ending in my opinion. Like, this is still a good movie. Just that I wasn't really a fan of like, Toothless became the Alpha and everybody just started shooting. While in the first movie, it was a little bit more creative on how they dispatched the Alpha there. So I don't know. I just feel like there's a little bit of a cop-out kind of ending where they're like, let's all fire at it together. and then see if it goes away. And I was like, well, this in the last one, he just waited for the fucking thing to breathe its fire and then shoot it within like the mouth, and then it blows up. And I was like, that's cool.
They're watching the first one. You're like, I still have PTSD from House of the Dragon. Just
yeah.
But no,
one rock. That's the outcome of Hiccup.
I do love how Toothless' move of like making the bigger dragon just go away. He's like spitting in its mouth. You're like, oh, okay, cool. That's your finishing move.
Yep, I guess.
And the alpha was just like so freaked out. I was like, oh no, Mike does. Bye.
Alright, ciao, peace. I ain't fucking with that shit. I didn't see what happened to Drago.
Neither did I. I was kind of expecting him to show up in the last movie. Like, alright, now I have 2 prosthetics.
Which he cannot move.
But yeah, it literally is like, we keep saying like it's like a video game where it's like just hold R2 and hope for the best, and that's about it.
Yeah, it was a very like long, quick time event on the ending.
Yeah, we're just like tap R2 until like something happens. Like, oh, I guess I win. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see your point. But again, everything does end up hunky dory. We're like, oh, cool, my mom's back, and Jon Snow gets to ride the dragon before he ever does in the show. And they're like, you know what? Other lands have navies or armies, but we have our dragons. You're like, alright.
Sick. And I love the entrance. With the song from... I don't know if this is correct. You correct me in the comments if y'all are watching. Of John Powell?
Powell?
Powell? Where he makes that like ending song.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the very catchy ending song. And I was like, I like that. I would like to put that in my playlist now.
Same here.
Because it's like I don't know, like off Monsters and Men. It's like the peak of folk indie.
Yeah.
And it's very nice and it's very like, I would like to fly in the sky while listening to the song. Kind of way. And then you see the art. Like concept art for the movie, and it's really sick. And one of the things I loved about The Mandalorian is when they would show us the concept art of what they thought this scene would look like in the show, and then they would show it at the end, and it's very nice. And they did that here, and I really love that.
Yeah. All that being said, what would you rate How to Train Your Dragon 2?
I will say I will bop it down a bit because of my gripe with the ending, where it's a little too, okay, just problem solved, just shoot at it. While the first one, as I said, was a little bit more creative with how they dealt with the problem. Yes, they blew it up, but I mean it was in a cool way. Yeah, so I will have to deduct points for that one. It was a little lackluster, but then again, the story on its own, from start to maybe almost finish, was solid. Us seeing the dad die was a very monumental thing. Like, a lot of kids' movies don't do that. Until now, with Spider-Verse and all that jazz. But yeah, so I'll give this movie 8.5 out of 10. It is a good one. I still prefer Kung Fu Panda 2 over this one, but this one has an amazing soundtrack, and I love the art style and the designs for everything, like the dragons, the characters. Hiccup's hot now. Looks like PewDiePie. Yeah.
I'll give this a 9. Like, the only gap I have is maybe the villain, because I just wish he's a bit more developed. So I feel like with Lord Shen, like if you ask why he's doing things, he would come up with better answers than just, I just want control and power. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of this list, my favorite will always forever be Shrek 2. But all of these movies, Kung Fu Panda 2, this one, are all solid movies. Like, these are like, for me, not in a bad way, but DreamWorks has never been able to like peak after this. Or like hit this level of like, these are solid movies. I don't know with like Shrek 5 and Kung Fu Panda 4. I hope for the best. Did you know they're coming up with a live action How to Train Your Dragon?
How does why?
Because I guess DreamWorks is like, if Disney's doing it, why can't we?
Well, it's not working. Don't DC this, please. Don't copy another franchise because they're doing so well with what they're doing.
I mean, I would argue Disney's doing badly with live action adaptations. So, why would you copy something so mediocre?
Yeah, just like leave it alone. Keep it where it is. It's fine. Just put that money into something like another project.
Yeah, and even if The Little Mermaid is a good movie, that's like 1 out of how many already? At this point, you're sort of like, why are you copying bad stuff?
I don't remember any good live action movies from Disney when they, remade like one of those princess stories.
And now they're doing Lilo and Stitch. You're like, stop it, please.
See Stitch?
Huh? Lilo and Stitch.
You see Stitch?
Oh,
no, like
the leak?
Like ugly looking blue thing.
Yeah. So I was like, what the fuck is that supposed to be? I don't know if that's official or if that's just like some person trolling the internet. I hope it's a troll. Otherwise, I'd be like, god damn.
If it's Disney trolling us, like, that'll be funny. Because, the internet will try to bully a studio into creating something that they really want and is one-to-one to the original design.
Yeah. Did you know Moana has a live-action remake and that movie is barely 10 years old?
What?
Because it's The Rock. If we can bring
Yoga.
back Henry Cavill into a dead universe, he can do anything.
Have you seen The Rock with hair?
Yes.
It does not look good. You've seen the Scorpion King thing?
Oh god. But enough of this tangent. What's your favorite DreamWorks sequel? If there is any other. Maybe it's Spirit 2, maybe it's something original like The Boss Baby. I hear The Boss Baby is pretty decent.
Really?
Yeah, even after all like the people were like, what a lame concept. I hear it's pretty watchable too, like it's a fun watch. Maybe we'll do it one of these days, I don't know.
Maybe because I might have been too harsh on Boss Baby.
Yeah. Megamind's pretty sick too.
Fun. Huh?
Megamind's pretty sick too.
Megamind's really good.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a sequel, so can't wait for that.
But yeah, that's my video on How to Train Your Dragon 2. Not much else to say about that. I don't know where my one is going. Oh yeah, I was about to say like this came out 2014. There were like other animated movies. There was Big Hero 6 and the Lego Movie. Some movies we'll probably do sometime in the future. Because I do love Big Hero 6 and I haven't seen the Lego Movie in quite some time. So yeah. I know you're not the biggest fan of the Lego Movie for some reason.
I just hate the song.
But everything... No, I won't say anything. With that, if you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, you can find me at Gandalfus995 on Twitter. How about you?
You can find me at John David on Instagram. It is my article.
And we'll be doing some more recent movies, starting with a movie about a bear that beat Ant-Man and the Wasp for the box office.
I say well deserved.
Yes. Until then, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.